Tonight, new measles exposures reported in Johnston, Wake, and Durham counties. What health experts say you should do to keep your family safe.
Cooler weather returns ahead of much-needed weekend showers. I'm timing out when the rain arrives and how it will impact your Valentine's Day weekend.
Cameras are everywhere, and with today's technology, your face is not entirely yours. It's being used by some companies to find and profile every one of us. We go in depth to find the start of something good, or perhaps something much worse. More people exposed to measles in more places. Wake County, Johnston County now, Durham as well, all either with a confirmed case or with potential exposures. So this is the type of story I know you have questions about. So email 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. We're all about taking your questions and your feedback and applying them to this newscast and getting those questions answered. The big story tonight, though, is the measles. This is a highly contagious disease that is spreading fast. And Johnston County's case was confirmed, we know, in a hospital. I want to show you the map of the potential exposures. First, in Durham, the person with measles was out and about on February 6th at the Goodwill on Garrett Road, the Chubby's Tacos on Hope Valley Road, and the Plato's Closet on Renaissance Parkway. In Wake County, those exposures were on on February 5th at the O2 Fitness and the Everbowl in Briar Creek, two Harris Teeter locations, one on Creedmoor, the other on Strickland, plus the Walgreens that is right next door. So we want to bring into WRAL's Eric Miller right now, covering this story for us live outside of the DHS office in Raleigh. Eric, what should people do if they think they or maybe someone they know may have been exposed?
Dan, health experts we talk to, from doctors to the folks at NCDHHS, say again and again, if you've got the vaccine, the measles vaccine, you are okay here. If you've not been vaccinated or you can't remember if you've been vaccinated, or if you were vaccinated between 1957 and 1968, you should reach out to your doctor about a measles titer. That's a test to check and see whether you are still immune or if you have immunity. You should also monitor for symptoms for the next 21 days. And if you start experiencing symptoms, you should call your doctor before coming in. Again, this is such a contagious disease. You don't want to risk exposing anybody if you don't have to.
You know, let's talk about the symptoms, because we see the pictures, but sometimes I wonder, is it that obvious even with the rash? What are some of the symptoms they think people should look out for?
Well, Dan, it does take time here. According to the CDC, the first symptoms people are likely to experience is a high fever, as well as a cough, runny nose, and red eyes. You'll then start seeing little white spots on your body before that rash starts to develop. It starts to develop right around 3 to 5 days after the first symptoms show up, and typically starts appearing around your hairline before spreading to the rest of your body.
So, Eric, we have now seen quite a few cases of measles recently, at least 18 in North Carolina, almost all of them children. Do we know where these cases may be coming from?
Yeah, Dan, that's actually a question that we took to NCDHHS. They, of course, are responsible for tracking these cases, trying to answer that exact question. They say most, but crucially, not all of these cases are coming across the border from South Carolina, where there has been a raging epidemic.
But we have had transmission in North Carolina, and we've had cases in North Carolina where we can't identify a specific exposure. So that tells us that there's unrecognized chains of measles transmission happening here in our state.
Yeah, certainly concerning there. And again, the word from NCDHHS, from doctors, from every health expert you talk to about this, they say the best thing you can do is get the vaccine. That'll keep you safe.
Right. Okay. Eric, appreciate the details from Eric Miller there tonight at DHHS headquarters. We'll check back with Eric throughout the night. All right. So we know that people, as we were saying, who are not vaccinated are the ones who are most at risk. So what does it mean, though, for people who are vaccinated? Well, the state health department reports the overwhelming majority of people in North Carolina have received their shots for MMR. Here is what you need to keep in mind. First, young children are the most at risk. Most kids get their first MMR shot at around 1 year old, but the next dose doesn't happen for a few years, which means those kids in between those shots have a lower percentage of protection, but it's still pretty high. It's at 93% kind of on average. And we should also note that immunity can wane over time. Eric was touching on that. So if you're worried about that, wondering if you are still immune, you've been vaccinated, you can get that immunity checked. CVS, LabCorp, and the state, they all offer tests for this. You can find them online. We have talked a lot about measles here at 7 o'clock. You can find our interview with a UNC infectious disease researcher on the WRAL YouTube page. In the meantime, let me know what more questions you have about the measles. Email 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. We answered some of those questions last night, and I'm happy to answer some more if you got them. As a marginalized group, we are used to these things, and we're used to going around them and finding ways around. That is your quote of the day. And it's a quote that led to NC State firing its assistant director of the Pride Center, Jay Edwards. He was that former assistant director. He was caught on video talking about, quote, getting around the UNC system's new DEI policies they adopted a couple years ago. WRL's Carly Haynes has the video and the explanation from NC State.
Secretly recorded video captured by hidden camera.
It's just a policy, but still, we move.
This video was published by activist group Accuracy in Media. It shows then Assistant Director of NC State's Pride Center, Jay Edwards, explaining how they're navigating a change in DEI policy.
As a marginalized group of citizens, we're used to going around them and finding ways around.
Shortly after this video was published, NC State fired Edwards. His page on the Pride Center's website no longer exists. An NC State spokesperson wrote Edwards was not authorized to speak on behalf of the university, and NC State complies with all applicable federal and state laws and UNC system policies. Back in 2024, the UNC system, NC State included, repealed its DEI policy, committing instead to institutional neutrality and non-discrimination due to federal orders to cut programs and funding.
Been very interested in navigating that. There's certain words we can't use anymore.
Accuracy in Media's website states that it has led the fight against DEI on college campuses.
It's undeniably clear to me that major reform is needed across the North Carolina university system.
Administrators at both UNC Charlotte and UNC Asheville were also fired as a result of the group's reporting. We were able to get in touch with Jay Edwards, who said he's not ready to speak about the situation just yet. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, NC State.
Here's what's next at 7 o'clock. The search for Nancy Guthrie and a Super Bowl ad about lost dogs. The connection? Doorbell cameras and the way we're connected worldwide. Is this the beginning of some surveillance state? Let's go in depth, because the trip down that slippery slope started a long time ago.
And hopefully you enjoyed the warm-up while it was here. The cold front has passed. The cooler weather will follow. And I'm going to break down when the coolest temperatures will settle in from this round coming up.
Let's talk about doorbell cameras for a moment. We've been seeing a lot of them around. Do we love them? Do we hate them? Do we need them? So Ring, they ran this Super Bowl ad for its doorbell camera, and it features a little feature on there that can help find missing dogs. And it reminded people that they are always recording, always. Got people thinking a lot less about pooches and more about privacy.
It's just like Alexa in that she's recording all the time, right? Because she is listening for you to say her name. So a lot of these cameras are set to record on motion, or at least to mark the motion in the video. And to do that, they have to be recording all the time.
They're on. They're always on. Then again, isn't that exactly why we bought them, the doorbell cameras, right? It's why we're able to get these pictures and the videos of the suspect in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, a story that has captivated and confused the nation. Her doorbell camera captured these, and now they are at the center of that case. You may not have an opinion on this sort of thing. It doesn't matter to you, but you should. I'm hoping a viewer named Brandy is watching, because she sent me this last night. What happened to Dan's segment In Depth with Dan Haggerty? This was always such an informative segment. Please tell me it was just on a little hiatus and we'll be back soon. Well, Brandy, this one's for you. Cameras are everywhere, and they know who you are. They're in your phones, outside your homes, inside your homes, at gas stations, parking decks, and elevators, cars, schools, stadiums, and grocery stores. They're at your work and on your drive home. In cases like Nancy Guthrie in that story, they do great things. They can help solve crimes. And for those of you who might be a little bit more reluctant to trust these things, you get worried about the lost dog feature. I hate to tell you, but that cat is already out of the bag, or that dog is out of the bag, or whatever animal you want to be out of the bag. With today's tech, your face does not entirely belong to you. It's part of a public domain, and companies are using it to find and profile each and every one of us. The best example of this is a company called Clearview AI. They scrub the public internet, Facebook, Instagram, Google, and everything in between, and they can find your face among billions of pictures. The CEO did a demonstration with a journalist from CNN. They uploaded his photo, and he showed him how it worked.
Oh, wow, oh my God.
Is that you?
That
or
photo is me.
Doesn't look like you. That's when you were younger?
Wow.
So it works, right?
Can you click into...
Sure.
So I don't really look anything like that right now.
So you can compare the photos if, you want to have a,
So this photograph is from my local newspaper where I lived in Ireland. Mm-hmm. And this photo would have been taken when I was like 16.
Whether you're young, whether you're old, this technology will find you. And it even works if the photo it is using and basing it on is awful. Here's a clip, another one from this one's from the BBC when they did a similar story.
They ran a search of this image from the police body cam footage using artificial intelligence.
This AI popped him up in like 3 to 5 seconds. It was just pictures just popping up. Pop, pop, pop. Here you are, like pop up. Here he is. This is the guy. And it was him, every one. So it was just wild. It was wild. It was like hitting the lottery.
So Clearview, obviously this technology, people want it, like the FBI. They have contracts with them, Air Force, Army, Homeland Security, and police departments. In fact, when their client lists got hacked and leaked in 2021, we learned they worked with Raleigh, Cary, and Fayetteville. Raleigh and Cary both say they no longer use that technology. But just so you are keeping up here, they can find your picture anywhere online, even if you didn't take it. Even if it's with people you don't even know. You could be in the background. You could be in a crowd somewhere. Anywhere in this program can find your photo. That means if there are pictures of you anywhere online, you are in Clearview's database right now, even your kids. And I'm betting that's almost every single person watching this. It is amazing tech. And yes, it can help catch the bad guys. But the concept still makes people a little uneasy. Cities and states across the country have started passing laws establishing guardrails. San Francisco, Oakland, Boston, just to name a few. The EU, they passed a huge bit of legislation on this in 2023, not just for Clearview, but for any company with these similar AI tools. And think about it. Every picture that you take, most is probably on a phone, right? An iPhone. That goes into the cloud. That sticks with Apple. Every app that you then grant access to that roll of photos, they get those pictures too. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, ChatGPT, all of them. And the only thing keeping those companies from abusing that data is good faith. And it's not just tech companies. New York Times reporter Kashmir Hill reported a personal story. She went to Madison Square Garden with a friend to see the Knicks play, but security stopped them.
As we were collecting our bags, a security guard came over and pulled this personal injury attorney aside. And he said, oh, you've been flagged. We use a facial recognition system here. And my manager's going to come over and he's going to need to talk to you. And this attorney was one of thousands of attorneys who have been placed on a ban list at Madison Square Garden, enforced with facial recognition technology because she works at a firm that has a case against the company.
So this is kind of the new norm. I mean, this is here. This tech is here. It is cheap and it is everywhere. We told you last month that Wegmans announced it's scanning your face at some stores. Walmart, Harris Teeter, Home Depot, they reported that they are doing the same. You may say they're just looking for repeat shoplifters, but that takes some trust to say that they're just doing that. Do you trust these companies with this kind of power? Or, do you think, hey, if you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to worry about, are you one of those people? And for them, I'm wondering, what is the limit to that rationale? Where is your line on privacy? Email us, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. This is the type of thing we like talking about here at 7 o'clock. We want to have challenging conversations, talk about the news stories that you want to talk about. So send us an email. Tell us what is on your mind. And Brandy, we will go in depth. Kat?
Some intense conversation there and kind of thinking points. But I want to start here with weather and something that's been quite nice. Our low temperature this morning was 54 degrees. When you take the average high temperature over the past 30 days, it's been 45 degrees. So it felt great outside already when you stepped out first thing in the morning. It's been a beautiful day, but the cooler air is settling in tonight now that the sun has set. A live look over Goldsboro. A nice night out there. Temperatures continue to fall, though. We should be in the 30s after midnight, and we'll wake up to temperatures tomorrow morning in the low to mid 30s. We will see sun early in the day tomorrow. It'll be a nice start, but about 20 degrees cooler than we were this morning. 33 in Raleigh, 28 in Roxborough, 30 degrees tomorrow morning in Rocky Mount. And then we do have some warmer weather to look forward to on the 7-day. So just hang in there a bit longer if you really liked yesterday and today. Our next weather maker really starts to take shape over the southwest on Friday. For us, it gets here Sunday. Saturday, really trending drier during the day, the way things look. We'll get a high resolution model in tomorrow that's going to help us really pinpoint the hours and locations with the heaviest rain. So check in for an update. The bottom line here is that Sunday looks wet, and you should go ahead and be thinking about an indoor backup plan for Sunday. We're looking at the potential for an inch, maybe up to an inch and a half of rain in some spots. We need that rain, so it's wonderful news. And Saturday is actually trending a little bit warmer. We have a high of 60 during the day Saturday. By dinner time, temperatures dip into the 50s. Calm winds out there. A pretty nice day, just increasing clouds that night. The bulk of this rain is going to fall on Sunday. The American model, which is called the GFS, and the European model both have over an inch of rain in Raleigh. Our in-house model, a bit less than that. So we'll watch that as high resolution data becomes available tomorrow. In the morning, 36 degrees at 8 a.m. By noon, we're up to 48. And then during the afternoon, just 52 tomorrow. Not quite our mid 60s that we had today, but still not all that bad when you think back to our average high over the past 30 days being in the mid 40s. 52 is still better than that. 52 again on Friday. Saturday, 60 degrees, partly cloudy. Sunday, we bumped up rain chances to 100%. And by next week, we're turning drier and warmer. Highs should climb back into the 60s. Dan.
Looks good. Thank you, Kat. Do you have that one role model that comes to mind when you think back to high school? For many students, at Athens Drive High School, it's not a teacher, it's an SRO. Our one last thing tonight, and your feedback after the break. One last thing, every February, schools across the country and here in Wake County, they celebrate SRO Appreciation Day. Technically, it's on the 15th, but over at Athens Drive High in Raleigh, they celebrated a little bit early. The school recognized their SRO, Officer Josh Walker. A bunch of students and teachers, they gathered in the library to recognize everything he does for the school, because not only is he there to protect the students and staff, but he's also a volunteer coach. Teachers told us they're pretty sure he knows who every kid in the school is.
When I got here, I was like, how can I really help people? And whether that be just somebody to shoulder to lean on, somebody to listen to, somebody to guide, somebody to coach. I thought, I was like, how can I connect with the kids more? Oh, I love coaching, I love sports, I play college ball. So when I got the opportunity to coach football, I coached football, wrestling, and track, I fell in love.
Officer Walker's commitment to the school doesn't slow down over summer either. Last year, he volunteered to chaperone a student trip to Japan. The school and the district say Officer Walker's a great role model for what all SROs should aspire to be. Hey, some quick feedback I want to get into tonight. Thank you to everybody sending those emails to 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. This one comes from Erica, and I think it's a good question. She says, I was born in 1966. How do I know if I was vaccinated for measles? How did I know if I get one of those vaccines? You know, as a little kid, it's tough to find those records nowadays. The simplest thing that anyone can do, whether it's Erica or anyone else, is they go to their doctor. It's a very simple blood test. So they'll draw blood. They'll test to see what your antibodies look like. Sometimes those vaccines can wane over time. So even if you were vaccinated back in the day, it might be worth a checkup just to find out where you currently sit, and then just take the advice of your doctor from there. Karen wrote in and asked about Alexa. Actually, wrong one. There was Harold. He wrote about Alexa. He said, if Alexa isn't listening all of the time, as she claims, how does she know when you call her name to prompt a question? So I'm not sure where you're hearing that she's not technically listening all the time, because in fact, Alexa is listening all the time. That's how the program works. Now, what they do with that data and how long they keep it is something that Amazon has changed its tune over time and time again. But Alexa listens at all times to wait for that cue, just like our expert was explaining with some of the cameras outside, how they're always recording and just waiting for somebody to pass in front, if it's motion or something like that, to then give you that recording. Hey, lots to talk about here at 7 o'clock. Keep writing those emails, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. We have the Olympic Zone just minutes away. Stick around.